My fellow gamers, I am Astral. This is Astral Byte Gaming, and today we are going to be playing the Prologue for Clothing Store Simulator, which is very fascinating to me because I work in retail with clothing, so I'll be able to give a lot of good insights into this. I'll be able to see how realistic it is. So it's gonna be fun. So why don't we jump in? We'll start a new game, and we'll get right in, create our store, and start selling clothing and merchandise, and building up a more honest clothing store, because a lot of them are very, I don't want to say deceitful, but there's very big markups between what they pay and what you pay. So we'll create something a little more balanced, equal, and better off for the consumer as opposed to the corporation itself. So welcome! You are taking the first step on your journey from a small shop to the most important fashion center in this city. Buy a few products, fill the aisles, and start selling. Your selling prices must be balanced. Take care of your customers, increase sales, improve your store, don't go bankrupt, work hard, and have a lot of fun. So let's go. So we can see we have $1,000 to start with. We're level 1. It is 9 a.m. And we're looking good. We're on a pretty decent street with a couple shops nearby, so you get that foot traffic. And some houses, so it's not a bad place to be. And if we go down here, now just as a courtesy, I have played it a little bit to see if it's something I'd want to bring to the channel, and I enjoyed what I played, so just keep that in mind. But again, with these simulator games, there's not a whole lot, like, spoiler-wise of what you're doing, so, but you do see that in the full version, we will get a storage system, or a storage area. Hopefully it is connected to the shop, because having to walk outside to your storage area is not ideal. You can see we start with one rack already. Badly placed against the wall. I would never put a clothing rack against the wall. So we're going to start by going to the computer and buying our first product. So we got the wholesaler, the store manager, the products, and workers will come in the full version. So let's go to the wholesaler, which is obviously where you buy all your merchandise from that you're going to sell. And you can see that we start with only women's apparel. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab, actually, first and foremost, I'm going to go to furniture. We're going to add another 2 racks into the cart. We're going to add a fitting room. We need a fitting room. So we're already at 300, and I'm going to add 1 of everything. Now, this is going to take us down. We're going to be down to like about 200. And then obviously there's going to be a delivery fee on top of that. So this is, I think, the best way to start out. We want a couple racks. We want a couple varieties to sell. And, you know, you got to have a place for them to try on their clothing. So we're going to buy that. We're going to be down to 188. We can hear the truck pulling up and delivering our place. I'm fine with the cash register where it is. I don't see an issue with that. You wouldn't want it near the windows because you would get a glare on the screen. So we're going to go grab it. These are, I believe, wholesale or manufacturer containers. And then we're just going to grab our first item, which is going to be a rack, and that we are going to place. Now, I talked about the rack they give you is inconveniently placed up against this wall. You're going to have hangers banging into walls. You're going to have, stuff falling off the floor, getting knocked over, damage to your property because of racks getting moved and shoved and all that. But also, it's harder to see it from the street. Now, this is a small store, so you can see it, but you want your products up and nice and close to the window. And we have 2 windows that we can work with. Technically 3, but like 2 big windows we can work with. So we want to place our racks right in the cross section of these 2 windows so you can see it when you're on the side of the building and in front of the building. So we're just going to place that there. We're going to grab the second one, and you just grab by using the E key on your keyboard. And we're going to place the second one right beside it. Then we're going to go over, grab the fitting room, and now the fitting room, I think I will place, when I did try it before, I placed it against this wall here. I didn't like how clogged it got at early on. So I think for my fitting room, I'm going to place it by, how do I want to do this? I'm going to place it there for now. When we get a second one, I'm going to have to rethink the location. But for now, that's okay. And then we're going to grab our third rack, and we're going to place this in a triangle formation. So this is just going to go right here. And you obviously want adequate space around them so you can get in, you can move, you can get around the racks. I'm actually going to move this just over a little bit. And that customers, as I'm shopping over here, another customer can be over here picking stuff up. So you want to keep that in mind as you're building out your store. Now we're just going to grab everything. We use the mouse button to pick that up, and if you hold the mouse button, you just grab everything at once. Really fast, really cool, great to have, and the container disappears, so you don't have to worry about getting rid of that. And we're going to just throw this on this rack here. And 10 dresses up, ready to go. These signs are really cool. Now, I will talk about, what my place of business, not my business, but where I work, has as opposed to this. And we got some mini skirts and what it's like, what the differences are, how it looks, how it feels, and how realistic it is. So one thing we're going to find out here is the first thing is the signage. Now, I know there are places that have signs like this. I don't know if there are places that have the actual female icon on the corner of the sign like that, like as an actual 3D carved out, printed, object like that. But I do know there are places that have signs like that that show what the item is. And I wish my place of business did this, where I work at did this, because it would make it really easy to remember where women's apparel is and men's apparel. The departments are separated, but certain items can get confusing with how similar they look. And the fact that the tones and the colors do not help with that. So we're going to go with products. We're going to make this. Now, one thing I hate in retail is the 99-cent or 50-cent rule in products, which is where you have $37.50. I hate that. It cheats the customer and makes them pay more than they're supposed to pay more for. Technically, we shouldn't have sales tax either because there's no reason for sales tax. it should just be included with the price that you see on the sign. So we're going to go a nice even number. Now, our cost is 15. They want us to sell it for 37, but I think we're going to go 30. We're going to try 30 out, see how that does. And we'll keep it just above. This will allow us to make the investment back that we had, and the extra on top of that, an additional amount that will go to buying more of a product. It possibly should, like I said, we're trying out. It possibly should be 3 times the amount, so you can have profit on top of that. But we'll see how it goes. So again, we have a cost of 20. They want 50, so I'm gonna go 40. And then for the mini skirts, we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna go 30. Nice round even numbers, not hard to remember, and it gives the customers a better feeling that they're not looking at 37.50 and then realizing that if they get something else, now you're up to $66 or somewhere like, yeah, 66. So now we got a couple of items. Now we want to open the store and start our day. Now they did update this to where initially you can access the sign from inside. You had to go outside, but that is not the case anymore. We can just open the sign. They'll come in, start doing their shopping. If they want to, they'll use a fitting room, and then we can just start to ring them out. As you can see, it's very bare in here. We don't have much. Again, yeah, you'd have to really trust the product, or this would have to be the only clothing store available to walk into a place this bare. Ideally, you're not starting off like this. You're going to have multiple racks, multiple sections. You're going to have, the you're going to have it filled so it's more presentable. We're just going to ring up their item. It's going to be 30 bucks, nice and easy. Congratulations, now you know what to do. An exciting adventure in the glamorous world of fashion awaits. Let's see if you can turn your store into the fashion center of the city. Boom. So, and that's it. And we ring them up. It's really cool. I did notice doing it the first time. It's going to be $60. And you just right click to exit the cash register. You left click on it to go into it. You can, as you're coming up, go like this and it'll spawn you behind it, which is really nice if you have a long line and you're kind of rushing, that you can do. Or you're just lazy and don't want to walk all the way over there. So, and it's obviously going to start off slow. As we get more stuff, we'll make more money. We'll have more things for them to try on, to buy. There's going to be stuff they want that we obviously don't have right now. So it's just a game of patience, building up your inventory to what you hope it can be. So one thing I did notice is they can take the clothing and throw it on the floor, which is more than realistic. The non-realistic part is that they stay folded when they're thrown onto the floor, and in real life, they are not. They are unfolded, strewn upside down. They are run over, walked on, kicked under shelving, torn, whatever like that. One thing I did notice is they don't have it where your clothing can be thrown over top of the rack, which obviously happens in real life. The closest thing you have right now is when you have the tables and you have an item on the table, it will be put on top of the sign, but again, it will still be folded. But they can leave stuff in the fitting room, so you have to go check the fitting rooms just like in real life. Have to check the fitting rooms to make sure they are, and we're all out of the shirts already, the blouses, to make sure there's nothing there. One thing that I noticed too is You want to look under your fitting rooms because it seems like there is a little bit of an issue where the clothing will glitch under the fitting rooms and just stay there and won't tell you it's there. You won't know unless you move the fitting room. So we're almost up to $800 already. We got a couple items left. You know, we've got a few items left. Our day is just about done, so we're going to see what it is. You do have rent that you have to pay. You do have a report at the end. Sorry about that. I had to cough. And we're going to see how it is. So I might, and you can see press N to start new day, but we're just going to let these last few customers do their shopping. We're going to close the store. And right. So now, at any time afterwards, you can restock your stuff. Your day does not end until you tell it to, which is nice. Some games like this force you to end your day right away. But since there's nothing else for us to do, we're just going to end. And we get a nice little report. So we can see that total customers was 15. We had 14 satisfied customers. So almost 100% of the customers were ones who bought and were happy with it. Nobody was mad that they couldn't find something. Things expensive, I don't know what that is yet, but we'll see. Maybe like if the item is overpriced. Improvement, 100 plus 140 for daily improvement, store level 2, and then you have your expenses. So total sales was 750. You can see our expenses, and we were at a negative, and we are sitting at 869 as we start the new day. So I do think one thing we're going to want to do is maybe put it up to 3 times the amount. It's not something that typically I would like to do, but seeing as we're going to need a little bit more, I'm going to say, actually, no, I'm going to bring it up back to the 50 that it wants. And then I'm going to bring the blouse up to, let's do 35. Let's see how that does. Just kind of play around. Try to keep it as low as possible so the customer isn't paying super expensive amounts. But see how that goes and what we've got. So we're gonna want to see, you can just exit your computer by hitting escape. Super easy, don't have to go all the way back. So we'll just order another round of our items. We're going to spend 500. So we will be just a little bit above where we were. And there's the truck. You can see it says wish list because it is not out yet. We're still waiting for it to release. And then we'll go just put this as backup, as overstock. No top shelving that we have, no back storage room again, like I said, like I showed you earlier. Actually I need all those because I need to put them out. So that's just going to be perfect. Then we'll grab the dresses, we'll refill what we can of the dresses, have a little bit of overstock. Now one thing I would like to see in this game, we'll restart the day, is the ability for your customers to put the item on the wrong shelf, the wrong rack, the wrong shelf, and come up to you and argue about the price, and you decide if you want to give it to them for that price or if you don't. That would make it a little more realistic because you do have that happen. It's extremely annoying, because the basic rule is that it's whatever it's advertised as, right? Like if the shirt is advertised as $25, then it's $25. It's not the 15 you found on the other rack, and you're basically engaging in thievery because you're forcing them to take a profit loss and selling their items for what they're not supposed to be. You're manipulating and taking advantage of them over what in most cases, and I don't say this to be mean, but what in most cases is the customer's fault, not the one who found it, but the one before them, of where somebody will decide they don't want it and just throw it on a rack instead of going back to where they found it and putting it back. Or, if you can't remember, which obviously does happen, just taking it to the fitting room and the service desk and being like, hey, I don't know where this goes. I decided I don't want it. Or even to a register. The people at the register can take it and give it to the person who it belongs to. And it's just like, you're creating that situation. You're causing it to be worse for other people. And, like, it's just, you got to have a little consideration to what it is. Like, you wouldn't want, if you worked in a dentist office, you wouldn't want people trying to say that, their filling should be half of what it is because of them having to wait for a while. So it's just like, I don't know. I understand it. I understand why they want it for that, because it's like advertised. But like, if it has a tag on it and it shows a price for that item on a tag, I mean, you kind of had to, like, the best rule of thumb, again, none of this is to be mean, to say, like, to hate on anybody. It's not. It just, my advice is, if you're buying a piece of apparel, is look at what's on the clothing. Look at the tag on the clothing. That's going to give you the amount it is. The prices on the racks are what that item is supposed to be for what belongs on that rack. Like, these are easier to tell because you can tell, oh, the orange dresses go here, so the mini skirts aren't going to be the price of that. But it's always, like, again, you don't have sales tags on these clothings in here, but in real life you will. And it's usually found in, like, the seam of the armpit. So it'll be like in the seam of the armpit, or if it's like a pair of pants, it'll be like in the right by the seam near the right at the pocket, where like the seam of the pocket meets the waistband. It'll usually be there. That is the tag that you want to go by. That's the tag that's going to give you the actual price. And like, if it's an item that like, obviously you're not going to get like jeans that are normally $13 for, $2 unless it's got a clearance tag on it, which varies from store to store, but it's usually, in our store, is a yellow tag. But like I get it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, but you also have to keep in mind, like, there's a price that it's supposed to be, and trying to take advantage of that and get it for what it's, for less than it actually is, like, ultimately, in the end, it ultimately winds up hurting you, because what you're doing is, you're creating shrink, and eventually that shrink is going to get to a point where we'll start a new day, where they're going to have to raise the prices. So, like, forcing those situations and being in that situation where it's like, yeah, it's fine to ask, but like, it's also one thing to constantly do it over and over again. And like there are people who will just take total advantage of it, and then there are people who will like understand what it is, and exceptions can be made, but just be mindful of like nobody wants prices raised. Like, I mean, that's ultimately the thing. Nobody wants to go in and be like, oh, you used to be able to pay $15 for these pair of jeans, which I still think are way too expensive. I don't know how. So nobody wants to pay $15 for a pair of jeans, and then I'm gonna see what getting two of these of each will do. So it's gonna be about 1,000. I don't think we're ready for that yet, so I'm just gonna buy the one. And and then have to go back buy the same pair of jeans for $25, which $15 for a pair of jeans is still too expensive. I mean, like, come on, who wants to pay $15 for a pair of jeans? Like, I don't understand how people can be like, oh, yeah, I bought this shirt at American Eagle or whatever, and it's like it was only $50. I'm like, you're getting ripped off, because I guarantee you that shirt's $50. That fabric doesn't cost any more than the fabric at like your local Walmart or your local Target. That fabric is the exact same. They probably paid the same, $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever, depending on how much fabric they bought, how thick the material is, blah blah blah. Right? They probably paid the exact same low price for it, and then just decided, hey, we're name brand, so we're going to charge you 6 times the amount. And that's ridiculous. Like, that's, I talked about like how people taking advantage of prices and trying to get stuff for less than what it really costs is robbery. Well, that's robbery too. Like, you're going to sit there and be like, yep, it's 6 times the price. Like, that's greed to its highest form. Like, if you can buy, that's on the level. I don't want to get into a whole thing, but that's on the level of like the hospital IV bags that cost like 80 cents to $1 to make, and then they charge you $800 at a hospital for it. And it's like, it's saline and water. It's like, you're not putting like liquid gold into it. It's like, I don't know. But that's what this whole thing is. That's why I love the simulation games, because I can do it differently. I can be like, I don't want to charge them 3 times their amount, so I'm going to charge them double, and I may take a little bit loss of a profit. Like, obviously here we're selling it for, not quite 3 times the amount, but not exactly. So we're selling it for a little more than we probably should be. I'm going to move that there so I'm not bumping into it. But and getting rid of that whole silly, stupid, see, here we go. They looked at this skirt, they threw it on the floor, and you gotta put it back up there. And I gotta double check the fitting room. Sure. Oh, yep, sorry. And you're gonna walk away. Yeah, of course you are. You could have just went into the fitting room. I mean, it wasn't that hard. Boom, and we're back over 1,000 already. But that's what I wanted. Like, that's what the store would be, is, cheaper prices, and as you go up, you could lower your prices, take a little bit more of a loss, and get, as you have more inventory and stuff. And that's what we'll do. We'll see how we can go. This seems to be working out better. The 35, and then the 50 for the dresses, which obviously are the big. I don't know how these people are coming in here every day, needing the exact same dress that they just bought. But hey, you get that in real life too. where you think these people couldn't possibly be in the store every single day, yet somehow it's like they took the item that they bought, threw it away, and just went, I'll go back to the store and buy the exact same thing. And it's like, and like, I get it. Like, in real, you use it, you give it away, whatever. It's not the issue. I'm not complaining about that. That's business. But it's just like, it's funny how you see the same people in there all the time. Like, we have people literally that come into the store and will be in there for 8, 9 hours, and it's like, why? Why? Why are you in the store for 9 hours? I don't want to be in the store for 9 hours. Why are you there? Do you have nothing else you can do? And like, teenagers are the worst at it. Like, they'll come in and they'll be in there for 10 hours straight. Like, you could play video games. You could go outside. Oh my god, that's such a horrible concept that you could go outside. Like, you could be doing something else besides wandering around a store for 10 hours because you think it's going to be cool to do so. Because, like, what? You don't have anything else to do? Like, and actually, you know, that's something else they could add to the game. I don't know how realistic they want to go with it. But if they wanted to go super realistic, they could have people wandering in your store, not buying stuff, and then you have to deal with, you know, if you decide that kicking them out is the right call or not. Because obviously having people just wander around your store the entire day can be a little off-putting and can be stressful for other customers because they may get nervous, they may not know what they're up to for being in there for so long. But also, like, are they trying to steal stuff? Are they trying to, you know, cause havoc? Are they trying to destroy things? Are they making your workers' shift and responsibilities harder and worse off than they need to be? And it's like, so you have to strike that balance, and it's something you could add to this game. I don't know how exactly they'd implement it, or if they'd want to, but it's just something to consider that could be brought into the game. And like, this whole thing isn't to rant, but it is just interesting to look at how certain aspects of the store function, and maybe the aspects that you don't think about that often. Like, you know, I'm not saying if you want to be in the store for 10 hours, fine, be in the store for 10 hours. That's your, like, I'm just saying, like, I want it personally. If I didn't have to be, I want it. That's all. And we got some. Actually, I don't know if we need any more of these. I'm gonna check. We do. We need 3 of them. Perfect. And then you can see we're already getting to the point that we're starting to have, I want to call it overstock, extra stock for as your supplies sell out during the day. I mean, it is technically overstock because you can't fit it on the racks or the shelves. But some extra articles so that you can restock as your merchandise is going down. So, and we'll just have to put it there. We'll reopen the store. And everything's restocked. Fitting rooms are cleared out. Windows look good. Do not bring that to the game. I do not want to clean windows in it. No, that's not. As we wait for them to do their shopping. You have furniture, you have mannequins, you get other registers, you'll eventually be able to get workers. You got shelves, which are your tables for your folded clothes to sit on. You have stands for your mannequins to stand on. You'll get, as the game comes out, is fully released, you'll have like mannequins in running positions. You'll have round racks, plants that you can set up. You'll have like the half mannequins. Where are they? Like these that get set on tables and stuff. You have different brands that you can buy. You have a design workshop that you unlock at level 7, I believe it said. 3 dresses. Lady just came in and spent $150 on 3 of the same dresses. All right, I mean whatever floats your boat. But and then that design part, you get to actually take the clothing. They give you a white and black option. I would imagine when the game's fully released that there'll be more colors, but you can add logos, you can add your own designs, your own pictures. If you're a fan of Soul Calibur or Dragon Age or Call of Duty, whatever, you can take a picture of that you downloaded, throw it on there, and you can sell, Call of Duty t-shirts in your shop. It's actually really, really cool. And you can there's a paint option in there that what you'll be able to do is, if you're careful with it, you'll be able to color it in a way that like you have the different color sleeves. I recommend painting first. We'll talk about it more as we unlock it. But I recommend painting first, then putting on like your stickers and your text. Otherwise, you'll have to paint over them, reapply them, and all that. But you'll see that as we get into it, and it expands outward. So already over $1,000, and we've got like 3 hours left to go in this day. We're starting to make that money. We're getting some stock left up. I do know from testing this game out a little bit, these stacks of clothing get really wonky if you start buying a lot of stock. You'll come in, they'll be knocked over, they'll be askew, you'll have to pick them up, reorganize them, and it gets to be a lot of pain. So your best option is to buy like 2 boxes, 2 units of the dresses. Let them sell out. That way you can restock during your shift. Like here, we're out of the mini skirts, so I can just take mini skirts and refill that. But then let that go out and then buy more. I think it was 2. It was 3. Of course it was. I miscounted. And then buy 2 more, and so forth until we get the full version of the game, and we have the ability. It's going to be 8. The ability to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. All right. Until we have access to the storage, then you can buy a ton. But for right now in the prologue, it's best to just kind of just buy 2 units at a time, and you can stack them on top of each other. All right, what are my dresses at? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Restocked. Nothing's in the fitting room. Nothing under the fitting room. They may have fixed that. That's it. And then we're just going to go to the next day. Too easy. So you can see unable to find products. 1, it does not seem to have an effect on your profit or anything. So that's not even an issue. It just seems like, hey, you don't have it in stock. Maybe consider keeping it in stock for them to be able to find and access. I do have to check something real quick, so I will be right back. Now, again, we've still got some stock. I think we're good to go, so all we're going to do, We're not buying anything today. We're just going right in, running another day, and we're going to build up. I do think we could possibly... What do we want to do? Let's do a mannequin. Let's do... Grab a mannequin. And we'll put her right there. So now when you do dress the mannequin, you are going to need to use one of your actual articles that you have to do that. So keep that in mind as you're going to have to actually have it. You don't just select the mannequin and choose the one that you want. It's an actual piece of article that you have from your inventory, which is realistic. You have to do that in the store as well. You have to use the actual inventory that you have. So that's really nice to see, is that aspect. Now, our store just started getting mannequins. We don't have a whole lot. We have a couple. They are a pain in the ass. I will tell you that. They are. I hate those things. Like, the amount of kids that mess with them, the stuff they do to them, like, it's not worth it. Not at all. It's just, I don't find it use. I don't see why we have them. I mean, it's like, I get, like, you're showing off your merchandise. People will see the outfits, like, oh, these go together. They look like a cute outfit. Maybe I'll grab that. But they're heavy too. Like, realistically, you saw that it just put that on there. You know, you'd have to pop off this arm, place the dress over top, then put the arms back on, and then, like, it's just, it's a work, and $170. We're sitting at $1,700. Doing good. See, now we're making money. Business is starting to flow. We're getting stuff in. Mannequins in the window. I am going to also, I think, I'm going to grab... Yeah, I can't until level 7. But I can... I'll get the new products. So now that we purchased that product, we have some men's pants, some sweatshirts and t-shirts for men, which we're going to have to grab. Some more racks for, and then we'll be able to start getting some men's apparel in here and start really already back up to over 1,800. Oh, gotta grab. Oh, we got some blouses, a blouse and a miniskirt in here. So miniskirt's gonna go there, blouse is gonna go there. Grab the register. Yep, the infamous floating clothes. So fun. And then we're just gonna put these up there. We'll have to restock. And the blouse. It's gonna need 7 more. And our day will be off by 1. I thought I had counted it correctly. And then we'll be off for the next day. Let me actually see how much this would cost me. So if I do the women's, plus the 3 racks, it's going to be about $1,000. So if I run a, yeah. So that looks good. So we have 13 customers, 10 were satisfied, 3 didn't find what they were looking for. We made a total profit of $779. We did spend some stuff. So there's that. All right, I think we will run one more and call it for this video. So we're just gonna grab, boom. So now we're over a little over 1,000. Feeling good. We're getting what we need. So let's set up the men's department. Which we don't have a lot of room, so it's just going to be side by side for now. That'd be good to... I should probably move these over a little bit more. So grab that, create a little bit of an aisle there for them. And then we can have the rack set up, ready to go for the men's apparel. How's that look? We're going to check it. We're going to make sure it's spaced right. That looks good. How's that? The men's rack needs to be pulled back a little bit more. So this is what we do in the store too. It's eyeing the racks to make sure they're aligned correctly. That looks pretty good. Yep, that looks pretty good. And then we'll just grab everything's filled, so this is all just overstock. And then we will run one more day, make some more profit, and then hopefully we'll be able to afford all the women's and all the men's stuff. Actually, let's see what that's going to be. And so if I wanted to do all this, it's going to be $1,112. So like $1,100 with $12 shipping. We should have enough to do that. We'll have to see if we're going to have enough for... There's 100 already. So actually, already, we've already made it. First railed in, you can see they go to the empty racks. They will check if you have racks or tables here in the game that don't have anything on it. They'll check it, but again, that does not affect your profits. It doesn't ding you for anything, so feel free to toss them in, get them set up, build up to that next level that you want to be at to get it, and start expanding your inventory. And then I think the next thing after that will be to get another fitting room and decide where the fitting rooms are going to reside permanently. At least permanently until we expand the store, because you do get one store expansion with the Prologue, and then in the full release of the game, you're going to be able to expand it a lot more. So, oh yeah, we're definitely going to have more than enough money. I won't be I would be surprised if we don't hit close to $2,000. Like we're almost at 1,500. This is gonna push us over. Yep, I bet we'll hit about $2,000 after this day. So we'll see how that does. We'll make sure there's not. Oh, see, there's a mini skirt in the fitting room, so we're gonna run that over. Alrighty, buying some major items. almost wiping us out of what we have, but we do have extra to put out there, so that is not a problem. So far, overall, compared to actually working in a clothing store, it's fairly real. It's wow. Let me try that again. It is fairly realistic. Obviously, there are some things that they won't include in the game. There's some things that I think could be in the game that aren't. One of those is more of the customers like not putting your clothing back when it should be put back. And stuff like that, and you know, asking about like prices being taken down. But overall, it's pretty realistic. You have to put the stuff out, you have to manage your expenses, you have to account for inventory, you have to make sure you pick up anything they drop on the floor or leave in the fitting room, which is a part of apparel retail that does not get accounted for very often. Yep, we have over 2,000 already. So we want some more blouses, which is going to be... I'll just take the whole stack because somebody might buy one while we're putting more out. So, overall, I really like it. I enjoy it. I think it's great. I think there's, a lot that can be added to this. I think it has great potential for what we're going to be able to do. We'll close that up. 4 more sundresses. We only have 2. That's fine. I mean, technically we have 3 because of the one on the mannequin, but nothing in the fitting room. Racks look good. We're ready to buy men's apparel and expand into the men's apparel line and really start bringing in some profits. And I think we're going to call that a day. We are going to go to New Day. So I can save. Made $192 profit, but we bought a lot of stuff. We did great. Your time does not move until you open your store, so you have plenty of time to restock, buy stuff, move stuff around. There's really good organization that way, being able to take your time, not having to rush. So, I'm really looking forward to this. I foresee playing this on the channel a lot. Like, this could be one of those long-term games that come to the channel, and just lots of episodes, lots to do, lots to see, lots of brands to get into with, who knows what else they'll add. So that is what I'm going to leave it for this episode. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon to stay up to date with everything this channel has to offer. And as always, keep on gaming.